Doug Peterson is the greatest coach in NFL history. You look at coaches that have won Super Bowls, okay? Bill Belichick. What has he ever won without Tom Brady? He's never even won a playoff game. Bill Walsh, okay? He had guys like Joe Montana. He had guys like Steve Young. You look at the Ravens, right, with Trent Dilfer. They had one of the greatest defenses of all time, okay? Just look at Tom Coughlin, right? Eli Manning's a borderline Hall of Famer. Their defense won those two Super Bowls. So my point is, like, if the Giants give up 35 points versus the Patriots, Giants don't sniff winning those Super Bowls. Doug Peterson got a backup quarterback with average receivers, a horrible receiving core, won a Super Bowl against Belichick, and needed to put up 41 points with a backup quarterback because his defense gave up 35 points. That's more impressive than any coach that's ever done that. If you look at, he is a quarterback in Carson Wentz who makes everyone around him significantly worse. He's terrible for chemistry. Josh McCown, a 40-year-old with a torn hamstring, with injuries all over the roster, had a 100 passer rating and 70% completion percentage with that same team that Wentz lost to the Seahawks 17-9. And remember, McCown only played 3 quarters, and they had 2 field goals in field goal range that McCown drove them downfield that they went for in a 4th down late in the game. So they would have had at least 15 points versus the Seahawks, and probably McCown wins that game if he plays all 4 quarters. Because remember, Wentz was getting shut out before he went down with the injury. So if he can get a 40-year-old quarterback in Josh McCown, who's rusty, who's a horrible backup when healthy, he can get him to play at that high of a level. What that tells you is Wentz is so bad for chemistry that if you just gave Doug Peterson an average quarterback, you gave him, say, take one of the average quarterbacks in the NFL right now, a Jameis Winston or a Cam Newton, he'd win. I believe Doug Peterson, if you gave him a good quarterback, if you gave him a Drew Brees, or you gave him a Dak Prescott, I believe Doug Peterson would win 7 Super Bowls in a 10-year span. That's how bad for chemistry Carson Wentz is. The fact that Doug Peterson was able to go 12-2 in his last 14 games with Nick Foles, including, just big game after big game he won with Nick Foles, okay? And that's with average to below average receivers. And he did this all while having injuries all over the roster, and he still found ways to win against the best of the best. So Doug Peterson is better than any coach in history. No one's ever done or accomplished what he did. Like I said, you look at teams like the Patriots that won a lot, they had Brady. You look at the 49ers, they had Steve Young and Joe Montana. You look at, even the Giants with Hostetler, they had one of the greatest defense. They had Lawrence Taylor. I mean, they had incredible playmakers all over the defensive side, and those defenses won those Super Bowls. It wasn't like they were putting up 40 points in the Super Bowl. Okay, you look at the Rams. They had Kurt Warner, the greatest show on turf. Just go through the line. No one has accomplished what Doug Peterson has accomplished, and that's why he is the greatest coach of all time.